Good evening and welcome everyone to Elevated Her, the podcast where we women talk about grown
Yes.
women subjects so that we are always elevating, going to the next level where this midlife it's not ending, y'all. We just got to take what we have and reposition it so we can create the life that we desire. Talk about life that we desire. We just talked about that in a previous episode. So my name is Caron
Yes.
Fairweather. I am the founder and curator of Boldly Becoming Her, where we women that are 50, 45, and up take our lived experiences and reposition them into skills, know how, wisdom that we have already gained and transfer them into those things that we desire by doing the things, not just talking about them, but understanding how you can take what you've already done, do it differently to use it to create the life that you desire. So, with that, I'm going to turn this over to Miss Marcy and then Miss Clivia so that they can introduce themselves rather. Sorry.
Well, I am Marcy Trueheart, and I am Marcy of Marcy Moments. What I do is I speak luxury words, and I teach you how to speak luxury words to yourself because the universe hears what you says. Now,
Hmm.
sometimes we need to understand that everything that we say need to make sure that we are elevated within ourselves. I'm a podcaster. I'm
Hmm.
an author. Um, I'm a belly dancer. I'm a volunteer, but most of all, I am I am loving Marcy. She is the number one character in her movie.
Hmm.
There we go. Give it to Vivian.
So I had to smile my way to the other screen. All right, so thank you so much. I am Clivia Allen, servant leader of Chosen 31 Essentials, where we're going to talk about grieving today. And I was going to make a statement. I was going to say, I grieved my parent company. Now I'm celebrating Chosen 31 because now I'm walking in that full purpose that I know God has for me. And it's really storytelling by way of dance, publication, and media. And just to see women heal and walk in their calling is such a beautiful thing to celebrate. And to learn more and to connect with our tribe, our circle, you can visit cliviaallen.com to learn more. I'm so excited about this conversation. I think I say that every episode now, but I'm so excited about this conversation. Over to you, Karen.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we have great conversations and we bring these grown woman conversations to this platform to share with our community and for our community to share with others because they really are grown women conversations. These are not where we going shopping. We are talking about things that are going to help us live our life in the best way possible. And today's subject is the grief of outgrowing the woman you had to be. And Marcy and I was having a pre-show conversation about this. She said, "Are you really grieving?" And I said, "Well, maybe you are, maybe you aren't." And the point that came down to it that at one point we grieved that woman we had to be because, let's say, we miss her because at a certain stage in life we made decisions to do certain things because life demanded it of us. But in the stage of life we're in now, where we have arrived right now, that woman and those behaviors are not needed anymore. But it feels like, wait, I'm missing her. I'm missing her. So we're going to unpack that today, talk about grieving her, um, grieve those things that we had to do. So let's start out with our opening, call a thing a thing. Our opening, call a thing a thing. You can know a season is over, that you don't have to behave that way anymore. You don't have to act that way anymore, but still grieve what it gave you. Still grieve what it gave you. You might say, well, what does that mean? Well, just think about it. In a particular season of life, and I'll pick my 20s. My 20s. During my 20s, I was married. I was in my mid 20s. Yeah, my mid 20s, I was married. And the thing that I had to do, oh dear God, I'm so thankful for deliverance. Put up with a whole bunch of noise from my former husband. Just fussing for no reason whatsoever. And please know, disclaimer, disclaimer, we are not bashing men. We're just talking about our individual experiences because we know that there are many wonderful, amazing men that have matured in a way that they know what they want out of life and treat the women in their lives very well. So I want to put that disclaimer out there first. However,
Mhm.
that just fussing about nothing. So at that stage of life, I found myself being a yes girl. Okay, honey. All right, honey, whatever. Making sure the children do things just to make him happy so he didn't fuss. You know what? It was easy because I didn't want to be confrontative. I wanted to just sit back and just let him be happy. And I did whatever it took for me for
Mhm.
him to feel happy. Well, I'm happy to say that she doesn't exist anymore. You got to make your own happiness because it's not my
Mhm.
responsibility. It's not my responsibility. If you're an unhappy person on your own, then right there we got a problem. Because I'm very happy with
Right.
me. I'm very happy with life. And if we can't be together and be happy individually, how are we gonna be happy collectively? It just doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
So when moving forward still feels like loss. Now, yes, when I first started to shed her, that girl, that young woman who behaved in that way for survival, I missed her for a minute because life was much more simple. Just yes, girl, yes, 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 yes. Okay, anything else? That type of girl, that was at that time was so easy. I wasn't being accountable for myself, let alone anybody else, because I was just doing whatever it took to make that person happy. No matter how miserable I was, note what I'm saying here. No matter how miserable I was, I just, whatever made them happy. But as I grew older and realized, well, what are you doing? Stop it. There were moments in time when I started to be confrontative and started to question some things and challenge some things. I'm like, dang, man, life seemed so simple back then. Why can't I go back to that? I know why I can't go back to that because we're not a yes girl no more. We're not a yes girl no more, Miss
Mhm.
Marcy. No, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore. So when it comes down to moving forward and looking back at your old way of functioning, your old way of doing things, your old way of being the one to put up with things because of somebody else's comfort, that no longer exists, but doesn't mean that you don't look back on those days and wonder, man, life was so much simpler then. Missing who you used to be does not mean you should hello, return to that life, like an old relationship, but it's with yourself. That him that you know is no good for you, but you want to, he come up in your mind and then you want to pick up the phone. Put that phone down.
I want to call Tyrone.
That's the enemy.
I know, so I'm gonna call his brother. Distraction. Distraction.
Put that phone down. Same thing with her. Same thing with her. You think about her for just a moment and you want to go back to that behavior because you believe in that moment because you're being challenged more than likely that was easier. Stop it. It was not. Missing who you used to be don't mean you got to go back to her. You can like, oh girl, I remember the day, and that's enough of that. And keep it moving because that's all you're gonna do is remember the day. And why? But also remember why you're remembering. Since you're going back there, remember why you carried on the way you did, why you functioned the way you
Mhm.
did. What part of your life do you miss even though you know it no longer fits you? Ooh, girl, I can name about 5 of those things right now. There's some parts of my life that I do miss, but I know it don't fit me anymore. It really it's out of place right now. So I don't go back over. I don't go back to it. I think about it for a moment. Like, okay, yeah, I learned a lot then. I learned a lot about who I am and who I am not. More so who I am not. But I have to know who I am in order to know who I am not. And that no, no, we're not doing that. And Miss Clifford mentioned in another episode about how she got clarity on things, and that's really what this boils down to. When you get clarity,
Mm-hmm.
and clarity is simply just you understanding what is good for you and what isn't good for you, and taking actions to course correct. That's what clarity
Mm-hmm.
is. So, Miss Clivia, why can't we give grief a role even when leaving it was necessary or right? Why can't we do that?
Great
What point?
question.
What's the point? What's the point?
Yeah, great question. Um, got some notes here. And even with grieving, that old role that was given, we don't only grieve people, we grieve roles, routine, certainty, even clothing. Now, I'm going to talk about, before I get into it, like the physical, right? I know, Marcy, you shared you had locks before this time. I had locks before this time. And I know we talked about outgrowing certain things, or that story that we had perhaps when we started our lock journey, it changed. And I think for me, when I unlocked my hair, I was going through something that I couldn't identify, but I knew I had to grieve that version. And then a few months later, I relocked my hair. Why? Because I knew this was part of my identity. Like, I couldn't see myself without the locks. And it just made sense financially and all the other things. And I think I really look good with locks.
You
Um,
too.
but I did have to grieve that old me. And I think, again, going back to that previous episode, people pleasing. There was
Mm-hmm.
one person that said, "Oh, I love ladies with natural hair." And I'm like, but you never told me you loved my hair, even though my hair was natural. It was just a weird. And again, I think I was trying to please them versus just loving on myself, right? So even when I relocked it, it was about me. It was what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted, the way I wanted to, let's say, be identified. We grieve the way people once saw us. We grieve the version of ourselves who knew exactly where she belonged. And again, talking about that physical. So I touched on the hair, and we talk about maybe clothing. Maybe once upon a time you could have wear a mini. Maybe once upon a time you could have wear, or what you call it, a crop top. And maybe we miss her. Like, let me try this on. Now, we done had some babies, and maybe none of us had surgeries. I don't think any of us had a little, BBL or LLB or whatever you want to name it. So it might be different. However, and Marcy, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You look good in a crop top. I do not. And and I think you know how to, again, you have to miss that old version, but the new version of you, because I don't know if you wore crop top in
Would
that
never.
season of,
Mm-mm.
you know what I'm saying? So now this new you, it's like, I'm loving me. I'm aware of this, right? I
Crop top
grieve the
and a
old
mini
version,
skirt.
you know what I'm saying?
I
And
have it on
again,
too.
I won't try it. Maybe I could try short shorts, but I know my place and I know the season that I'm in. And some people, they grieve that younger self. Why? Because they got the attention. No, leave that for your daughter. Leave that for your 15-year-old or 18-year-old. Again, it's hard for us to sometimes release the old us. Other people knew how to relate to her in that old role. They knew her title, right? I know this guy who was a pastor. He was a public figure. Everyone knew him in his community. He traveled on jets. He did all the things. He had a mega church. And today he works a 9 to 5. He lives in a nice simple house. He drives a regular car. And now I'm thinking about it, he grieved that lifestyle, but he's so content with what God allowed him to have to where he is now. And sometimes we have to go through, sometimes it's the opposite, where I think there's a scripture that says, little is much when God is in it. God is going to
Mm-hmm.
give you the small, the little, to see how you steward it. And then as we allow him the capacity, he's going to bless us with that capacity. Then he knows, okay, they're able to handle more. Then there's some where he gives them the more, but then he humbles them, because why? He knows that, okay, that was just a season. So again, sometimes we grieve the old us, but the old us is able to thank that version of us to then live a content life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm preaching a little bit,
That's yeah.
right? That I miss feeling certain, I miss feeling useful, I miss having structure, I miss knowing where I belong. Once you
Mm-hmm.
identify what you truly miss, you can begin asking how to meet that need in a way that fits your lifestyle now. So
Mm-hmm.
again, you have to be be able to identify what you miss, to now say, okay, I had all the things, now I only have this, or now I'm only doing this. I'm going to remove the word only. Now I'm doing this. How can I be content in this? How can I be happy in this? How can I adjust? And as you adjust with yourself and love on yourself and do the things where you are now, then you would see people also adjusting to this
Mm-hmm.
new version of yourself. Call it a
Yep.
good thing. You may not miss the old life, you may miss what life allowed you to feel. And I
Yes.
mentioned it in the previous
Mm-hmm.
episode where being married, you know, you had somebody to come home to. You have somebody to talk to all the time. And I didn't have that. Yes, I came home to someone, but we didn't talk. Right. So, yes, I don't miss that old life. I don't. Right. But you may miss the old life or may not. And I think what some people miss is what it allowed you to feel. It allowed you to feel content. It allowed you to feel seen. It allowed you to feel heard. But again, for some, it might be different. For me, it was
Mm-hmm.
definitely opposite of that. Reflection question. What did your old role give you that you are still trying to replace? I'm going to repeat that. And that's to ponder on. What did your old role give you? And Karan gave the acronyms of role, give you that you are still trying to replace. Now, Marcy, as they ponder and get their pen and paper, we'll give them a little time.
Okay.
What happens when a woman feels this loss, but believes she should already be over it? And again, that goes back to the previous handoff in the other episode where we sometimes try to rush this season,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we're letting it go, but now I'm ready for it. What does that look like when we feel the loss, but then we believe we should already be over it?
Yeah.
That right there, we have to learn how to sit in our feelings, process our feelings, and then start healing from our
Mm-hmm.
feelings. So
Yeah.
we've been always told to, because we're these super women, oh, you got hurt, your feelings got hurt, you was your heart is broken, you're shattered. Oh, take 3 business days and you should be over.
Right.
We're not professional mourners.
I love
But
that.
one reason this grief stays quiet is because women often believe they should um they should not feel it. So you're not given a chance to, what I said, process these
Mm-hmm.
feelings. They tell themselves, "Oh, I chose this. I prayed for this. I wanted the children to grow up and become independent. I knew the career wouldn't last forever. I know the relationship needed to change. I should have been grateful. I should have moved on by now." Instead of allowing the feelings, they judge it. Processing. And anybody I'm a huge component of therapy. Um, I was going to therapy every week. I was going to therapy every week, and my therapist was like, "Marcy, I can't do anything for you." So I had to go to a psychiatrist because of the simple fact I needed to take medicine because I hated my life. Okay. But um, we're going to just say that the following, um, inserting of allowing the feelings, they judge me. Uh, So you become more busy, you create other plans, you take new projects. That, and we're gonna go back to the last episode. No is a complete sentence. They announce their next chapter before they have fully understood what ended. This is huge, especially women coming out of divorce. Let me just talk to our women who coming out of divorce, coming out of a bad relationship. Allow yourself time to grieve your old identity, grieve that identity as you are progressing to your new self. Your shattered self takes time to become repaired.
Mm-hmm.
Healing, like I said, I'm a component of therapy. for those who don't want therapy, dancing. Clivia,
Mhm.
we both know we dancing. So the day I found out that my husband was cheating on me, it was a Saturday. And when I left where he was at, I went straight to dance class. They didn't know what was wrong
Mhm.
until I was dancing, and then the next thing I was on the floor crying, and then the rest of the class was on the
Yes.
floor
Yeah.
rolling and crying. So we in dance we say leave it on the floor.
Mhm.
So if you and these could be a combination of things: therapy,
Mhm.
dancing, art therapy,
Yes.
working out. But don't sit in your corner
Mm-hmm.
and continue to play out what went wrong.
Mhm.
Why did this happen? Why did it happen?
Yeah.
Learn your lesson. And I
Feel
wish I
the
would have known
feelings. Yeah.
I was 3.5 years into my depression. Learn this lesson. Learn the lesson and move forward. Okay, we're gonna skip most of that. No, missing being needed, because being needed once gave you life and clear purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, yeah, you gotta let that go. A woman says, I don't know what's wrong with me. Nothing may be wrong, something may be simply over. Like, and especially mothers, like you said, empty nesters. I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, my last baby is gone. Girl, you get to have all your snacks to yourself. You ain't nobody's disturbing you while you're in the bathroom. Um, you get to watch when you lose the remote, you got to find a remote because you lost the remote. So those are the little things that look forward to. Um, the answer might not be remain stuck in your loss. The answer is to stop pretending that strength means skipping over it. Let's stop right there because we have been taught to dismiss our feelings. We have been conditioned to go on shattered. We have been conditioned to you don't need to talk about this. And that's why this is why you got these mean women and men in the church because they ain't never go get healed from that. From then they broken. We not
Mm-hmm.
broken. We shattered. They broken. They never got healed from that brokenness. They never got healed. I had a conversation with one of my POCs from church, and he said, "Yeah, they got PTSD." I said, "I tell you what, these clowns could have PTSD, but I'm gonna give them some MARCY. Because if you come at me crazy because you have refused to be healed in church or not, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna give you a little bit of what my therapist said, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of what my non-therapist said. Okay, and then that's where when you skip over the grief process,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you become that angry, bitter, nasty, unforgiving, and not being that no one wants to be around you person. So let's call a thing a thing. You do not have to call the losses small simply because the change was necessary. Okay, we got a reflection question. What feeling have you been rushing because you think you should already be past it?
Mm. Can I say something about that real quick, Miss
Sit in.
Marcy?
Yep.
So rushing because you feel like you should be past it. Who said you should be past it? Who said you're supposed to be
And
past
have
it?
you processed it?
Right.
Who says you're supposed to be past? I think sometimes we put these expectations on ourselves. Jobs, I need to get over this. You will in time, like Miss Marcia said. Give yourself
Mhm.
time to process it, to go through. And nothing says everything must go by the same timeline. It's a whole lot of factors that come into place. Give yourself time. Stop it. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now, but I just needed to ask that question. Who said that? It's fake. It doesn't
And that's
exist.
that's that's really good, K Ron, because um the way you heal is not the way I heal.
Right.
Like my best friend Ty, when her daughter got killed, she said, "Girl, her at work every day, her coworkers was like." You want some mac and cheese? You want some this? She's like, yeah, yeah. She said, "Girl, I gained 50 pounds." So when I was depressed, like, and I've been looking at pictures from then and now, I ain't depressed no more. Trust me. I lost 50 pounds. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I lost. Now, if you see some pictures from me a couple from some years ago, I look like I was a crackhead. But we both went through grief, different types of grief.
Right.
She ate, I did. So the way we grieve is different. And give
Yeah.
yourself grace.
Yeah.
So let's have a grounded moment. Before we move on, we're gonna take one moment. Once again, we're going to just breathe in and just breathe out real hard and real fast, and then your shoulders are just gonna just there you go. Place your feet on the floor if you can. Take one slow breath in, let it out gently. Think about the role or the season that changed. Think about what changed in your life. Think about why you have to change right now. Simply just notice, what do you miss? Maybe it's routine. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
the title. Maybe it's the closeness. Maybe it's the certainty. Maybe the responsibility. The way people needed you at one time. Now ask yourself, what am I actually grieving?
Mm. Yeah.
With that, one more breath in, slow, and do a 5 count. As we let it out slowly. Do you have to solve the loss right now? You only need to tell yourself the truth about what matters. I'm going to say that again. You only need to tell yourself the truth about what matters.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Ron, once a woman knows that she's grieving, how does she honor it without rebuilding the same life?
Ooh, that's a great question, and one that I hope our audience is
Yes.
paying attention to. You don't want to recreate that you know you had to get rid of. There's some music in the background. I'm not sure if somebody know what that's coming from. Um, when you, let's say, you take a moment, you're reflecting back on it, and you realize there's something you missed about that season, but you also know that's a season that had to end. Why are you gonna go back and recreate it? What are we doing? But unfortunately, sometimes we do that because we are missing it, as opposed to just honoring, acknowledging. When we say honor, we're just saying acknowledge that the season was what it was, and then move on. You may even get to a point of being able to celebrate it without recreating. There is a difference between honoring and recreating. Honoring is saying, I grew a lot from that. Yes, it was painful, but thankfully I am not hurting like that. I can actually laugh. When you get to a point where you can recall some of those memories and laugh about them, you know you have healed. When one time it brought you to your knees in tears, but now you can heal. I mean, now you can laugh. You know that you have healed from it. Honoring the season means telling the truth about what it gave you. What did you learn from that season? What did you build from that season? What did you enjoy from that season? What did you survive? And of all of them, who did you become because of that season? Who did you become? I became a renewed person. Became a more independent person. I became a person who can speak their voice because my voice was silenced for a long time. I didn't have an opinion about nothing. Nothing. I don't care. Oh, it doesn't matter. For a long time, my voice was silent. And mothers whose children are grown may continue trying to manage every part of their lives or then take on the grandchildren. The adult, the children, her children are gone, but now she's raising the grandchildren. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's great to be a support, but because you didn't want an empty nest, now you're going to bring the grandchildren in the house because you don't like being alone. I've seen it done many times. Listen, my children already know. Grandma can't keep the grandchildren until they get out of diapers. They already know. And they don't even have children yet. But they understand that because I'm serious about it. I'm not changing no more diapers. I change y'all. I'm not changing no more diapers. I'm done with that. And that's a boundary that I have set. And they are well aware of that. So when we reflect back on our life, we don't have to recreate that we have healed from or healing from. Honor it for what it was. Acknowledge it. Call it what it is. That was a season of a lot of pain for me. But you know what I got out of that? I grew up. I matured. I got some wisdom and understanding about some things, especially about myself. And I don't have to go back to that to learn the lesson again. I've already learned the lesson. Now, if you didn't learn the lesson, then let's have a different conversation. Let's have a different conversation. So let's call a thing a thing. Do not rebuild the same pressure simply because it once made you feel important. Hello, raising my hand. Do not do that because it made you feel important at that time. Because it was a fallacy. It really was a fallacy. It's something that you created to make yourself feel important when you were important anyway, without it. Reflection question: what part of your old role are you at risk of recreating in this new season that's coming? Empty nest syndrome, single, was married for a long time, wasn't married for a long time, now married, career change, a new way of thinking about things. Your body ain't the same way it used to be, and so therefore you haven't figured out. I don't care what it is that you wear. Just be confident in what you wear because you can see some people wear stuff and they just pulling and tugging at it and pulling and tugging at it. No, 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 no. If your new season got you to a point where you feel good about wearing this, that, and the third, have at it, but be confident in it. Don't let nobody say anything to you that don't feel good for you to hear. Because if I wear a crop top, you best believe you better not say nothing out of the way. Nothing.
Come on, let's do it.
Crop top meetup.
So the next meetup we have everybody wearing their crop top.
And they better not say a word. You hear me? Not one word. But oh,
One,
you look good. That's it. Because I'm feeling confident in myself.
Or don't
Whatever
say
it is.
nothing at all.
Or nothing at all. Correct. Because the thing is that I have got myself to a place where I feel good about what I'm wearing. I don't need your opinion about it. Now, if I'm wearing and I'm pulling and tugging, or if I don't quite know how to wear, and that's another thing, we'll have we have to have another episode about being comfortable in what you wear and knowing what to wear and how to wear it. Because you can wear whatever the latest trend is, you just got to know how to wear it for you. Another topic. Back on track. So, Miss Clivia, what does it look like when a woman begins separating her value from the role she used to perform? What does it look like?
Right. So excuse any background music y'all might hear. Got a little entertainment outside my window. So I will make it quick and then pass it on to Marcy. So who are we without our role? This can be one of the most hardest questions that we may face when we talk about grieving the past. Who are you when you are no longer performing the role that gave your life structure? Right? Some people really, really lose themselves. They go into depression. Like Marcy, you said you didn't
Yep.
eat and Tyrese ate, right? So we really sometimes have to figure that out, but in everything happens in its time. For women who have spent decades producing, supporting, solving, leading, and caring, that question can feel very open. And again, we talked about women identifying themselves with what they had around them. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, but who are you? Right? I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That's who I am. And I'll walk in that regardless of what phase of life I'm in. And I'm going to skip down again. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that, but I don't want to keep it loud. Um, what do you want to carry forward? So these are some other questions. What are you ready to stop proving? The role may have ended. The qualities you develop while living it remain available to you. So again, you may have been, who knows, a vice president of a company in corporate America. We understand, and Kiran, you were a living witness to that, having a role. Why? Because the money was real good, right? And it came to an end. Did you
Yeah.
lose yourself? Maybe for a point you had to kind of figure it out, but then
Yeah.
you realize those same skills that you develop over the years, now you're able to run a business, still have another job, right? Where it was
Hmm.
something, again, you prayed for, where you're able to travel, I would say, the world. But now those same skills that you had in that leadership role for someone else, now you're able to use those same skills in your own
Yes.
business. And here we
Yes.
are on a whole podcast and so much more. So,
Yes.
call a thing. The role ended. Your experience, wisdom, and ability did not.
Did not. Hmm.
Reflection question. What strength from your old role still belongs in your life now? And again, sometimes we can carry those things over. I was having a conversation. It was a conversation. No, I was at a conference and somebody gave the example of a cross. And I believe, not I believe, I know we're all believers here. And we realized that some things stopped at the cross and some things went through the cross. So you talk about
Hmm.
the Old Testament where certain things did stop when Christ died, but then some things had to go through the cross, where today we're still walking in forgiveness, we're still walking in love, and that goes really deep. But we realize that some things helped us in that old life for who we are today. So there's some strengths that we have to, even though we grieve them, we bring them. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Marcy, because now I'm hearing some drums. Marcy, how can a woman begin making space for a new life without forcing herself to know exactly what comes next? How
Liz,
can a
I don't
woman
know if
begin making
I
space
don't
for
know if that's an
a new life?
ice cream truck in the background or what, but honey,
It
when I tell
is.
you it's got club feels, got an old club vibe going on.
I'm like, what is this? Who's sitting? So, Marcy, over to you.
I tell you that sound reminds me of this movie I saw many years ago, and that's why I hate an ice cream truck now. And it was called Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I hate to hear the ice cream truck now. Yeah, but look. That's my old life, and I still haven't gotten over that movie in the sound. So guess what? I'm still processing it, and it's okay. But let the new life be unfinished. Okay, one of the hardest parts of leaving an old role is not knowing what will replace it.
Replace it. Yep.
Hmm. We like clear answers. In this
Hmm.
newness, you're not going to get them. We want a new title. My new title is divorcee. And I didn't want that title,
Yeah.
but I wear it and I wear it well now. But not for long. So I'm putting that thing out in the atmosphere, not for long. Um,
Yes.
a new plan. Even though things are crumbling, please continue to make this new plan, a new
Yeah.
purpose. Now, I'm not his wife. I'm not my ex-husband's wife. Now I'm gonna be my new husband's wife, but I'm not my ex-husband's wife. But now, as I am divorcee single Marcy, I'm happy. I'm happy being single because I'm gonna enjoy when my mate comes. So I'm enjoying this part. I'm learning myself. I'm understanding myself. I'm healing myself. So this part is necessary for what I do want. Yes, I do want a mate. I do want a relationship. So, but I have to do the work. I have a new purpose, a new routine. I gotta take out that trash. And we've on many shows. That's my that
Talk
is
about
my
it.
biggest thing.
Yes.
That's what that's the thing I mourn
Yeah.
out of my marriage. And my husband making me, and my ex-husband making me salmon. But out of my marriage, what the one thing I still mourn is I gotta take the trash out. And sometimes, okay, a new routine. Sometimes that tells us that we have not lost, but there may be a point where the old role is over and the new role is not clear yet. And
Mm-hmm.
that definitely comes into play. Somebody who's in the midst of a divorce, in a separation, newly divorced, I know, or just a breaking up of a relationship, or even a
Yeah.
friendship.
Yeah. That's true.
The face, the space, yeah, the space can feel uncomfortable, and it is because it's you processing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it can also be useful. You do not have to feel you don't have to fill that space immediately. You don't have to turn every interest into a business. You
Mm-hmm.
might just like to tap dance. Just go to
Right.
tap dance classes. You don't have to be Chloe and Claude
Right.
uh Arnold. Um, you don't have to you don't have to turn every interest into a business. Okay. You don't have to make every free hour productive. And
Mm.
lay on that couch.
Speaking
Sit
to the
down.
choir.
Yeah, binge watch the Pamigla. What's his name?
Polygamy.
Polygamist.
Yes,
Polygamous.
the Polygamist. Yes, binge watch the Polygamist. Do something like that. Um, you don't have to have to prove that the next chapter is already successful. Just breathe, breathe. If you gotta cry, cry. Go take a 2 hour long shower and cry
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
because those tears in the shower hit different.
And then you pay the water bill after. Just let it out.
Yeah, yeah, just yeah. And it's you don't need to eat a whole thing of ice cream either. Um, you can rest. You can notice. You notice what gives you energy. You could try something without announcing it that it's a new purpose. Everything we don't need to know about. You could
Mm-hmm.
become curious again. And if you need to be curious again, here's a plug.
Visit.
I am a bedroom candy consultant. You can get in contact with me if you want to be curious again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, and I'm a plug. It's fun. Uh, you can be curious again. And that what may feel unfamiliar for women who have spent decades knowing what needed to be done, and now it's undone. But not knowing is not the same as failing. But not knowing is not the same as failing. It might not mean that your next part of your life is going to be fully taking shape, but give yourself enough room to learn what you enjoy when duty is no longer making every decision. Come on, let's call it the thing. Do you have to replace an old role before you understand what you want next? And of course, I've got action prompt for you. And I think we said this in our last segment. Give yourself 1 hour this week to explore something that is not based on duty. productivity, or being needed. So Clivia, that'll go to a dance class. We gonna always go to a dance class, learn how to knit, learn how to throw darts or axes. Then again, it depends on what kind of mood you're in. You're muted, Clivia.
Sorry, I was saying, or just simply walking for 15 minutes, just something that you don't even have to think about or
Right.
pay for, you know?
Okay. So, Kron, bring us to our final reflection and practical action.
Of course, of course, of course, of course. So, ladies, keeping in mind that when it comes down to grieving, it's a process and it's different for everyone. We don't do anything just alike. We don't. We really don't. We don't do anything just alike. So, give yourself grace, give yourself room, give yourself time, give yourself space. One day it may not, whatever it is you're grieving, that woman that used to be may not come across your mind. But then another day she'll come across your mind a few times. And if you need to take that walk, you need to go take that dance class, you need to do something to distract yourself, to keep from going back to those old behaviors, by all means. When it comes down to what you can do to keep yourself focused on your new role, this new life that you have, that you don't have to complete it because you're constantly growing. Remember the role or the season that you made that change in, and why. What and identify, what do you truly miss about that? Do you just miss her, or there's an aspect of it? The season, what did it give you? What did that, whatever that piece was that you missed, what did it give you? And what do you really want to create that season? Do you really want to create that? I don't want to really, no. So honor it. Look back on it for what it was. Look back on that season for what it was. Don't look at it as in, well, I need to do that again because no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just honor it. Honor it for what it was. I'm going to give us our final thing, call a thing a thing. You can carry the meaning of an old season forward without carrying the old role with it. So, whatever the meaning of that season was for you, for me, my season was growth. Every time it's growth. And I bring that growth forward with me. Name what you have missed. When those memories come back up, just name what you've missed. Decide what you want to keep and release what no longer belongs in your life. And I guarantee you, most of it doesn't belong in your life anymore. Miss Marcy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Most of it just don't belong in your life, and it just doesn't have a place anymore. Whatever that
Yeah.
one piece of, you might have enjoyed doing X, Y, or Z with whomever or by yourself doing that, but that thing you no longer do that because it doesn't serve you well anymore. And it really doesn't have to be another person, y'all. I don't want to be focused so much on others as it is. It could be a behavior of yours that just doesn't serve you anymore. It doesn't serve me well to sit down and eat a pint of ice cream every other night. I could do that in my 20s. I can't do that in my 60s for many
Mm-hmm.
reasons. So it's behaviors that just don't serve me well anymore. At that time, sitting down and eating ice cream like that just used to soothe my very soul. Now I do it once a month, and it still soothes my soul. I'm just not bringing the
Mm-hmm.
other 10 pints with me. I'm leaving them all behind and just
Mm-hmm.
letting one satisfy my soul. You know what I mean? So just making the necessary adjustments for where you are. Now, once you have identified what it is, y'all, decide what you want to keep and release what no longer belongs to you. And really, again, I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying this. You got to be honest with yourself. Stop playing these old mind games with yourself. Stop it. You're not
Mm-hmm.
serving any real purpose. And when I say I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to us too. Y'all just happen to be listening to
Mm-hmm.
us talk to each other. That's all it is, okay?
Nice.
Just stop it. Just stop it, because lying to yourself serves nobody well, especially you. Lying to yourself serves nobody well, especially you. So we want to be honest with ourselves. Call a thing a thing. You hear us say it all the time here in the show. Call a thing a thing. Call it what it is. If you're ready
Mm-hmm.
for that. And if you're not ready, it's okay. Be honest with yourself. You know what? Oh, that's a lot of work. I'm not ready. And that's okay. But just understand what you're saying yes to as well as what you're saying no to. Let's get to these affirmations, ladies. All right, moving forward is not betrayal. It is not. It is obedience to the life God is calling me into. I got to leave something to go in. I got to come out of something. So, what He's leaving me into, I
Mm-hmm.
honor what shaped me. I release what I cannot carry, and I walk forward with grace, courage, and faith.
Amen.
I know that my joy will find me again. And until then, I will meet myself with love, grace, and luxury words. I am healing. I am held. I am becoming. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. My past prepared me, but it does not define me. I give myself permission to grieve what was, celebrate who I am becoming, and trust God with who I have yet to become.
Amen.
Amen. In our scripture, Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1. To everything, there is a season. So remember, you don't got to rush the process. There's a season for that, and a time to every purpose under heaven. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Let me leave you this last thought with you guys. There, just like Miss Cliff you just read, there are seasons of life that ask everything of us. There are seasons. And under identifying what season you are in is very important. We work, we build, we raise, we support, we protect, and we solve. But what we don't do is take care of ourselves. Be honest with yourself. Take care of yourself because there's only one of you. There's only one of you. And with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe. You see the subscribe button on the screen there. We want you to know those episodes come up every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in for those. Turn on the reminder for so you all these fingers just pointing all these kind of directions y'all. They're trying to point y'all to as I
Oh, go
talk.
this
They
way.
try to
We
guide
got
your
the QR
eyes.
code.
Nonetheless, we enjoy having you as part of our community, and we encourage you to please leave comments. We know that you're watching. We've had over 25,000 views on our episodes, so we know that you're watching. We want comments. We would love to hear what you have to say, even if you don't agree with something we said. That's okay. It's okay not to agree. So leave your comments for us. We love to hear what you have to say. And in the meantime, and in between time, peace and blessings to you all. And remember, we're just repositioning. That's all. We're repositioning everything that we already know. We are repositioning. Thank you, elevators. We appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you,
Peace. Bye,
elevators.
y'all.
For the woman becoming, elevate H.E.R. Elevate H.E.R.